Hey guys, today we are starting a new lesson. It is section 1-2, Measures of Central Tendency and Range, and it's found on page 10 in your book. So we're going to take a few notes and then I'm going to show you some examples. And the first thing is the measures of central tendency. There are 3 of them: mean, median, and mode. So whenever you need to pause the video and take notes, because you do need to copy this down in your notebook. So first is the mean, and the mean is just the average of all the numbers in a data set. Okay, so last week we talked about data sets and statistics and collecting information. Well, now we're going to talk about what do we do with this information once we collect it. So mean is the average, and this is how you find the average. You're going to add all the numbers in the set, then divide by how many numbers there are. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of that. I'm going to write some numbers down, and I want you to copy everything that I'm writing so that you have these examples in your notebook. So this is the data set that we're going to use for all 3 of these vocabulary terms: mean, median, and mode. We're going to use these numbers in green, and that's going to help us to find each term. So the first thing I do, if you remember what we wrote in parentheses, we're going to add all the numbers up. So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm just going to add all those numbers. 4 plus 12 plus 21 plus 33 plus 9 plus 4 and plus 78. So 161 is what I got when I added them all together. And now the second part is divide by how many numbers there are. So I'm going to count up how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 numbers. That means I'm going to divide by 7. So 161 divided by 7 is 23. That means the mean, or the average, of these numbers is 23. And that's my answer for mean. Okay, so when you think of mean, I want you to think of average. Median is the middle number when you put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So when we need to find the median, we have to put the numbers in order first. So let's do that. I'm going to use the same numbers as above, the green numbers, and we're just going to put them in order from least to greatest. So I see 4, 4, I have 2 4s. I'm just going to put a little mark so I don't forget any numbers. 9, 12 and 21, 33 and 78. And then I'm just going to make sure I still have 7. Remember, there were 7 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I didn't miss any. So now that they're in order from least to greatest, median means middle, like that thing in the middle of the road that's called the median, the curb that has like the plants in it. That's the median because it's in the middle of the road. So when you think of median, you need to think middle. We're going to look for the middle value. When there's an odd number of numbers, it is so much easier. So the median, or middle number, out of all these numbers is going to be 12, because 12 is right in the middle. There are 3 numbers on the left and there are 3 numbers on the right. So 12 is my middle number. So the median is 12. So the last term is the mode, and mode means the most. So think of most when you think of mode. It sounds like mode. Mode is the most, okay? meaning the number that appears the most in our data. So if I go back, the best way to do this is to put them in order from least to greatest, which we already did right here for median. So we're just going to go back and look, which number do I see the most of? Well, I see 2 4s. And that's the only number that I see repeated. So 4 is going to be the mode. 4 is the number that appears the most in our data set. And the last term that we're going to talk about today is the range. And the range is just the difference between the greatest and least values in your data set. So I just rewrote the same data set that we've been using down here. And I need to look for the greatest value and the smallest value. I'm just going to subtract those two, and that will give me my range. So the greatest value, the biggest number, is going to be 78. And the smallest number in this set is going to be 4. So all I'm going to do is 78 minus 4, which is 74. So 74 is my range of data. Okay, the range is just the numbers that your data covers. So our data goes between 4 and 78, which is 74 numbers long. We're going to look at an example from the book, page 12. It gives us this information. It says, Devon biked the following number of miles on each day of his trip. So here are all the different miles that he biked each day of his trip. And it wants us to find the mean, median, mode, and range of this data set. So for mean, remember mean is the average. So I'm going to add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. So let's do that. So we have 12.3 plus 12.8, 12.4, 18.4, plus 14.9, plus 17.5, plus 12.7, plus 11.4, plus 13.5. Okay, 153. So I got 153. But now I have to divide by how many numbers there are. So let's count how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to divide by 10. .3 are his average miles that he biked each day. Okay, so the mean of this data set is 15.3 miles. So let's move on and find the median. Remember, median is that thing in the middle of the road, so median means middle. And to find the median, we have to put all of our numbers in order from smallest to biggest. So let me do that. I'm going to pause. And you can do it yourself too, and then come back and see if you got it. I put all the numbers in order from least to greatest, and then I counted to make sure I had 10 and I didn't miss any. You also notice I made those little red marks under each number when I used it so that I could keep track of which ones I used and which ones I hadn't used. Okay, so now that they're in order from least to greatest, I have to find the middle number. Well, there's 10 numbers. So technically, the middle would be 5 on this side and 5 on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this time, a number did not fall in the middle position. Because it's an even number of data, I have a number on each side of the middle. When that happens, I'm going to take the mean or the average of those two middle numbers. So I am going to add together 12.8 and 13.5. and I got 26.3, and then just divide by 2. Okay, so I just used my calculator to divide 26.3 by 2 because I averaged two numbers, so I'm dividing by 2, and that equaled 13.15. So the middle number for this data set, the median, is 13.15. So let's go ahead and look at mode. I'm just going to erase this so I have more room. And remember, mode is the most, the number that appears the most in our data. So let's see which number appears the most. So it appears this time that we don't have a mode. There are no numbers that repeat themselves. So if there's no mode, you're just going to write no mode. Last thing we need to find is the range. So remember, the range is your greatest value minus your smallest value. So let's look for those values. My greatest number, it's easy once you put them in order. You just get the first and the last. My greatest number is 27.1. My smallest is 11.4. So I'm just going to subtract those two. And let's use our calculator so we won't mess up. So 15.7 is my range. All right, so we will keep working with this all week and practicing, and the more we do it, the better you'll get at it. And I'm going to put a video in the IXL assignment on how to do the IXL. So watch the video and then try the IXL, or watch the video, pause it, do the IXL. Watch more of the video, pause it, do the IXL. It's going to help you to know how to do it correctly.